This is huge news. I'm selling my 1-800-GOT-JUNK franchises. Starting back October 24th, 2005, we actually signed the franchise agreement to start 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We were so excited and we built it from doing a couple $1,000s in sales to $19 million in sales in 4 different states. It's been an incredible journey. I've learned so much and have been able to do so many great things, building leaders, building businesses, and servicing over 1 million different jobs over that period. I'm gonna take a little bit of time to reminisce back to how I actually found out about 1-800-GOT-JUNK, some of my best learnings, and just remembering what it's been like building 1-800-GOT-JUNK in our local area. So one of the most common questions people ask me is, how in the world did you ever hear of 1-800-GOT-JUNK or think of this concept? Well, it really wasn't my story. It was actually Brian Scudamore, and he started 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But for me, it started with my mother-in-law, Lona. Lona was at the King of Prussia Mall, and she saw a 1-800-GOT-JUNK truck. And this just inspired her. I was like, there is no way. This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard of. Who would ever pay money to get rid of junk? It just wasn't something that was in my world or something that I would do. Luckily, she was right and I was wrong. I watched a video of the day in the life of it, got to see how a franchise partner would, meet with his teams and visit realtors and go and watch employees do jobs and help them complete the jobs and recycle things and donate things and all these great things, and I was hooked. I thought this was a great idea. I have to be part of it. I started the franchise process where they interview you and talk to you about what it's like to be a franchise partner at 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and then it came time for the financials. They said they needed $100,000 to start a franchise, which was great, but I really only had about $1,000 in the bank. So I basically said, hey, there's no way this is gonna work for me. I'm putting it to the side. I'm just gonna forget about the 1-800-GOT-JUNK dream. A couple months later, the franchise development department called me and they said, hey, Dave, would you like to come to Vancouver? We're actually hosting a group of people from your area. I'm like, but I just don't have the cash to actually start this. They're like, don't worry about that. We just want to come up and get to meet you. So they actually paid for my airline ticket to fly me up to Vancouver. We got to meet Brian Scudamore, the founder of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and the whole team, and just became really, really excited. They said, you know what, Dave? We're gonna offer this other person a franchise first, but we'll let you have second pick. You can pick this other area, and we actually chose Reading and Lancaster, Pennsylvania as the place we wanted to start. There's no way that I was gonna be able to come up with $100,000. But we figured a way to make it happen. We got like a $20,000 home equity line. We borrowed money, cashed out 401k, all these different things. My dad actually came and worked for us for the first 18 months for free. Like, he kept his other business going, kept running that, a labor of love to help me build this business, build 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And actually, to tell you the truth, for the first 4 years, I worked another job and then just did this on the side. It was a crazy time, but as entrepreneurs or as somebody who wants something, they figure out how to make it happen. And that's what you gotta do. We had an unbelievable first year. We actually made Rookie of the Year, top revenue in the entire country, beating out major metropolitan areas in our little area of Lancaster and Reading, Pennsylvania. And it was great, but we didn't make any money. We actually lost money for the first 2 to 3 years as we were building this up. But there's no way at that point I would have known how big this could grow and how great it could be. So we weren't making any money at that point. And then we had the Great Recession that hit right after this awesome year of 2007. 2008 was a rough year. I'll never forget February 14th, 2009. My brother actually called me that day and he said, hey, Dave, I saw one of your trucks on another truck. Is there something wrong? Did it break down? I was like, no. And I started trying to figure out what was happening. And what I realized is that even though I had a payment agreement, because I was behind on my payments of my trucks, all of my trucks were getting repossessed on that day. It was a scary thing. We started hiding trucks, figuring it out, working out payment agreements, sending cash directly to our finance company to figure it out. But what a great way to spend Valentine's Day, realizing that your entire investment, your career, your house, your mortgage, your business, your family is all on the line, and something had to change. We really had to dig into our finances so we actually knew what our payments were due. We knew what our financials were. The biggest thing for us was our labor costs, which is almost every business. Labor is your most expensive thing, and we just needed to start managing that in a better way. We started looking at it more closely on a quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily basis. But I think in any business, you need to look at those numbers, especially labor, and the quicker you can get that information to your people and manage that, the better off you are. One of the next aha moments was in 2010, 2011. As the economy started to heat back up, I really explored mass media. You can't just go out and spend money if you don't know what to do. You need to do the research. You need to find, an ad agency or people who have the great strategies and relationships to figure it out. Because I see tons of people who get in, they spend the $50,000, $100,000 in advertising, and they don't get the return on investment that they actually want. The media's changed. Now social media is more where it's at, and you're always gonna be adapting and always gonna be changing. But that was a huge aha moment for us, was to think way bigger than ourselves from a marketing advertising standpoint, just to get the brand recognition out there so people know who we are. So another thing that I think really set us apart was advertising heavily during our busy season. During the busy season, you're just thinking, you know what? Hey, it's good, it's great. When I want to advertise is when it's slow, but it's actually the exact opposite, because you know what? Your customers are coming in and looking for your service at that time. So if you can expand your advertising, expand your marketing, go after those customers year round, but especially during your busy season, you are 10 times better off. So business was good, advertising was moving on. The next critical thing in my story is finding great people that actually fit like a puzzle piece to you. The thing is, I'm the crazy idea guy. I come up with the marketing strategies. I'm the maverick, and I really needed the no person. I know it sounds kind of crazy. You don't really want to have a no person, especially if you're a yes person to everything. But we actually found somebody internally. And this was an individual who actually started on the trucks and has eventually ascended to our COO and also an equity partner in our business. And I needed somebody that was going to look at it, see my vision, see where I want to go, and then for them to come up with how are we going to get there. And yes, does he say no to 99% of my ideas? Absolutely. But the thing is he does see those opportunities where he would normally probably not go with, but he's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's take the risk. Let's put the pressure on. Let's figure out how to make this thing happen. So the lesson here is if you want to take yourself to the next level, you need to find that person that complements you, that has a different skill set than you to take your business to that next level. So eventually I ended up on the franchise advisory council. These are the people who help steer 1-800-GOT-JUNK, give them ideas, thoughts from the field to see where they're going in the future. During my time on that, I actually went to a fishing cabin up in Vermont. It was a great time. And I remember I was having a conversation with Tom Ripna. And Tom's been around at 1-800-GOT-JUNK even way, way, way before me. An awesome operator with franchises all over the United States. And Tom asked me, he said, well, hey, how much are you going to grow next year? And I said, probably like 5 or 10%. He said, why? And I was like, I don't know, that's great. Like people would kill for 5 or 10% growth. And he said, Dave, when you started this business, where'd you put the numbers at? And I was like, well, we said we want to grow 30, 40%. He said, why can't you do that right now? Well, the market, I gave all kinds of excuses and all that type of stuff. But I started thinking about that and I said, you know what? He's absolutely right. I mean, he's been doing this forever. He understands that that is reality. So I came back from that and I sat down with Jason and we said, look, for our organization, if we want to grow 40%, what does that look like? What's the marketing that we're going to have to put behind that? What is the people that we're going to have to hire? How many trucks are we going to have? We actually just like reverse engineer it. We said, okay, we're going to go after and we're going to get that 30, 40% growth. And you know what? We did it. I mean, it was an unbelievable thing, but if you can go through and just set up, what would it take? How many sales calls do I need to get? How many online bookings do I have to get? How many yard signs do I have to put out there or door hangers? How many employees do I have? Those critical things can set you up for success. As an entrepreneur, don't ever forget to dream big. I mean, like epically big. But sometimes, thinking big doesn't actually work out. And not everything is going to work out. I remember reading the book, Built to Last by Jim Collins, and he talks about a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. And I was like, that's so Dave Wise. I want to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. So went back, looked at all the numbers and everything and the leadership team, and I said, okay, hey, what is our big, hairy, audacious goal? And we came up with a number and some metrics, and we're like, this is great. We're going to push this out. We had this great party. We had like a trophy that we're hanging out. We're talking to all the employees, and we're going through this and trying to hit this goal so that we can take everybody on a cruise. The thing is probably by August, maybe even July, we realized like we are not going to hit this thing. So the real question for a leader is when you fail, when you don't hit the target, when you don't hit the goal, where do you go from there? We sat down, we re-looked at everything that was happening and we said, okay, hey, the next year, we're gonna have a BHAG again. We're gonna have that crazy goal again, maybe a little bit different, maybe not so many metrics that we have to hit. And we went back at it and we got everybody excited and pushed and pushed and pushed. And we hit the number. Both of our franchises at that point actually got to go on a cruise. We went down to the Caribbean, rolled four-wheelers, hung out with everybody, and just this great time of getting together and celebrating that win. You can set big goals. Sometimes you fail, but keep trying. Keep going after that goal. Keep trying to be better. So another learning I had came from Gino Wickman's entrepreneurial operating system. And he had lots of great nuggets in there that I was able to implement in my business. But one thing he talks about is the core values of the business. And, that really struck home to me. And because he said, they can't be aspirational. You can't say, hey, I want my business to be X. It has to be people inside your business. So me and Jason sat down in our conference room and we wrote on the wall the 5 or 6 best people we've ever had work for our company. What were they about? What we liked about them, how they operated, how they interacted with other people. And we just drilled those down till we got 4 core values. The best of the best, these are who they are. And we went to our employees and said, okay, whoever our employee is, do they have these traits or don't they have those traits? And if they don't have those traits, then they're not part of our organization. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're just not the best person for us. And as soon as we established those core values, we had a situation. We had this top performer. The customers loved him, high average job size, just a great performer out there. And we realized that he was overcharging customers on purpose just to boost his metrics. We said care is one of our core values. Caring for the customer. He needs to be a part of that. And we made the difficult decision to fire our top performer. It was tough. It was gut-wrenching. But you know what? It was great after that because the people that came in and filled behind that person had our core values. And it could be a company that I'm proud of and that our whole organization is just moving forward. It also showed our employees that our core values aren't something that's just sitting on the wall. It's real things that we live by. So another learning for us had to do with trucks and equipment, facilities in general. I mean, the thing is it's easy to cheap out and keep the same truck. And we had the truck that we bought at the very beginning, and we want to keep that forever because guess what? After it's paid off, it's no payments. But the reality is it was costing us money because it was costing us a huge amount of money for repairs, but also the downtime. Like if we have to go and tow somebody on the side of the road or we can't go service a customer at that time, it's a big problem. So we realized hey, we want to have new trucks. So our fleet is 4 years or newer. So we use them for 3 or 4 years and then we sell them and we bring in a brand new one. It has helped us to become a great organization and move forward. Yes, maybe it costs us a little bit of money, but I can definitely sleep a lot better at night. One big step we took in training was getting away from tribal knowledge, passing it down the aisle, 50 different times. So the person at the end is like, hey, you want me to paint the truck pink? No, that's not what we were looking for. So we went to video. Video is great because it's consistent. We can go in and we can develop concepts. We can develop different training scenarios, even role playing that we can do on video. And basically every single one of my franchises every day plays a 5-6 minute video that trains them on safety or sales or all different types of things. But it's consistent so everybody knows the same thing. Using video is more than just about training. For us, it's about sharing with who we are, what we're about. So we love on the recruiting when we're talking to an employee that we can send a video where they have a personalized message saying, hey, it's Dave. I'd love for you to be a part of our organization. Or maybe this is what it's like to be at a company. This is what your coworkers are like. This is their personality. And they can see that and say, hey, that is a place that I want to be a part of. We also need to start investing in our people. We need to take their skill level up a notch. So my first crazy Dave Wise idea was renting a 16-acre estate in Key West. And we took our top performers from every single franchise. We flew them down to Key West, and we had a great time hanging out in the pool, jet skiing, snorkeling. But it was really more the interaction where we could talk about the business of how they take care of our customers, what the culture is in their organization, how they help determine what that culture is. It was an awesome time, an epic weekend. Probably didn't need to go that big, but luckily Jason wasn't there, so he had no idea. We needed to continue this. So we started these summits where we take the best performers from each franchise and get them together once a quarter. This was a time that we could let other managers actually shine, bringing them in to teach different parts of it, develop them as a manager, develop them as a trainer, but also work through our best people. And the thing is, if you can actually take your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people and get them out to you so you can explain the business, so they can see the business through your eyes and where you see it's going and get them to up their game, it's going to take the whole organization much, much higher. Culture is clutch. It's just the one thing that changes an organization. No matter where you are, you walk into a company, a business, and people want to be there, it just changes the whole reality of that organization. And we've realized that. And we've done a lot of things to actually build on that culture. One of the biggest things is events outside of work. And you know me, I like to go big, I like to go epic. So we've done things like go-kart racing where people are like, what? We're driving four-wheelers all over the place? We've done snowmobile riding, laser tag, paintball, a lot of paintball. I've been shot so many times by employees, it's ridiculous. Even just like a day at the beach or a barbecue at the shop gives guys that idea that they want to be part of this community and builds their relationships so that down the road, when they have an issue, when they have a problem, they can pick up the phone and call another employee or manager because they're not just their coworker, they're their friend, they're somebody who's going to survive even past their time at our company. Employee morale and what they're thinking, how they see things is a huge part of our business. So we do that in multiple ways. The first one is a weekly report. Every single employee on Friday at 4 o'clock, it pops up on their calendar, do a weekly report. And we ask them, what's their workload like? What's their morale like? What's their high this week? What's their low this week? Now this could be business or personal, and it's been a huge thing for me because I'm able to see into their life, and maybe there's something I don't know that's happening in the business that actually they get direct feed right to the CEO. There could be other things that are happening in the business that I don't know, and I find out about those too. But it's basically for us to be able to take a temperature. There's smiley faces and all kinds of stuff like that. So I can instantly know how somebody's week is going. And I'm able to reach out to them and say, hey, congratulations. I didn't really know about this, or whatever the situation is. The other one is an engagement survey. An engagement survey we put out twice a year and asks a whole bunch of different pointed questions. It's anonymous, so nobody knows where the answers came from. I mean, you might be able to guess. It asks them stuff like, do you think you're being paid fairly? Do you think your boss wants you to be promoted or has your best interest in mind? Lots of different things. And I really had to come by these. And when I first got some of the results back, I guess I was a little mad. I was like, this is not how it works. This isn't true. And I really had to say, look, that's their perspective. And their perspective is actually their reality. So we had to dive deep in those and say, okay, we really need to educate our employees on these different and change their perspective. So one of the simple things we did was just telling people how much they made. They see their paycheck and they're making $14 an hour, let's say, and they say, oh, I'm making less money because Sheets is paying 17. But now, every 6 months, we actually would sit down and we'd say, okay, hey, I just want to tell you how much you're making. Right now, you're making $14 an hour base pay. You're making $8 in bonus. And you're making $4 in tips, or whatever the number is. You're making $25 to $27 an hour. They're like, are you serious? I had no idea. And just giving them that actual perspective changed some of those survey results. But it's a continual approach. So every time we get those survey results, taking the blinders off and saying, okay, hey, this is their perspective. How do we change their perspective? But two great ways to understand who our employees are and what they're about and how they see the world. So this transition out of 1-800-GOT-JUNK is going to be difficult for me and my family. It's really who we are. It's part of my identity. And when we were even talking about it at the very beginning and say, hey, what would this look like? I was just like, I can't even see the world without literally 90% of my wardrobe is blue 1-800-GOT-JUNK shirts, jackets, etc. And my kids were wrestling with it. I don't understand, Dad. We were born into this business. It's a tough thing for me too. I've really grown up in this business. I've learned so much. I've learned from so many people. There's been so many people who have, helped me along the way, who have given me that hand and have built me into the business person that I am today. And I'm grateful for those relationships. I'm grateful for 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Even though I'm stepping out of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, it's still part of my legacy. It's still part of who I am. When people see a junk truck rolling around in Virginia or Pennsylvania or Ohio, they're going to think about Dave Wise. The other thing too is I'm a maverick. It's a personality trait that we use in identifying people, but a maverick is somebody who doesn't really like to follow the rules. So maybe I'm not really the best person for our franchise system where you just have to have rules. I want to be creative. I want to figure out what the best way to do every single thing is, not what I'm told they think is the best way. It's, being true to who I am And the other thing too is I'm all about entrepreneurs. I'm all about inspiring people to be entrepreneurs, coaching entrepreneurs, and launching others to be an entrepreneur. One of my major goals is to have 30 equity partners by 2027. We have some in our other businesses. We have some in 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But realistically, I need to look at new industries, places where I could get people in on the ground floor where they're building the business from scratch, not building an existing business and taking it up, a couple notches, but taking somebody from $0 to $3 or $4 or $5 million in sales. So I'm super excited about the next step. And this next step is all about entrepreneurship, building entrepreneurs and being entrepreneurs. And I am so excited for that. So in closing, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for our customers for trusting us when we were doing 1 or 2 jobs at the beginning per day. And currently we're doing $19 million in sales. I want to thank you to the 250 employees that we have out there that bust their butt every single day and just make this company an unbelievable place. I want to thank the leaders that we have currently and what they're going to be doing with the new organization and growing this business and doubling this business in 1 or 2 years. And the leaders who were here before. I mean, we have so many different leaders that have come in our organization, have left and are with 1-800-GOT-JUNK or other organizations that are just epic leaders, and they just put so much time, effort, and sweat into this to build this business to where it is today. All the different leaders, business owners who have spoken to my life, who have given me ideas, thoughts, and just changed my trajectory from being in corporate America to being an entrepreneur, the ultimate goal out there. And my family, it's gonna be tough. They've done a lot of sacrificing along the way to get to the place that we are today, but it's been a heck of a ride, and I'm so excited for the next chapter, excited for, what is to come, because the possibilities are endless. I have some epic ideas going forward, and I can't wait to share them with you.